The airport buzzed with the usual morning energy, families reuniting, business people rushing to catch flights, the hum of suitcase wheels rolling across tile floors. At gate 12, a teenage girl named Amara sat quietly in the first-class boarding area, earbuds in, eyes fixed on her phone screen. She wore a sleek black hoodie, jeans, and crisp sneakers. Her natural hair was pulled into a high puff, and her carry-on luggage, a Louis Vuitton duffel, sat neatly by her side. She wasn't bothering anyone, just waiting, as instructed, for boarding to begin. A flight attendant passed by, gave her a glance, hesitated, and then circled back. "Excuse me, sweetheart," the woman said, her smile strained. "This area is reserved for first-class passengers only." Amara pulled out one earbud. "I know," she replied politely. "I have a seat in 2A. The flight attendant's eyes narrowed. "Are you sure? Can I see your ticket?" Amara fished it out of her pocket and handed it over. The attendant looked at it, then at Amara again. "This must be a mistake," the woman muttered under her breath, but loud enough for Amara to hear. "Did someone purchase this for you?" Amara's cheeks flushed. "Yes, my mom did." There was a pause. Then, the attendant shook her head, handed the ticket back, and said, "I'm going to need you to wait at the general boarding area while we sort this out." Amara looked around. Others, all older, mostly white, sat comfortably in the first-class area, undisturbed. No one else was being questioned. She could feel the stares now, a few whispers. "But I didn't do anything," she said softly. "Please don't make this difficult," the attendant replied, her voice firm now. "Come with me." Amara stood up, heart pounding, and rolled her bag toward the crowded general seating area, her head down. A security guard was called over to escort her, just in case. People watched, some with curiosity, others with smirks. 5 minutes passed. Then came the sound of confident heels clicking across the polished floor. A tall woman in an elegant navy suit and red-bottomed heels strode toward the gate, phone in hand, Bluetooth in ear. Her presence was commanding, impossible to ignore. Her hair was perfectly braided into a crown, and her expression, though calm, carried the weight of someone who did not tolerate disrespect. This was Amara Freeman, CEO of one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the U.S., a Forbes-recognized innovator, and Amara's mother. She spotted her daughter near the vending machines and frowned. "Amara, why aren't you in first class?" Amara hesitated, then quietly said, "They made me move. Said it must have been a mistake." Olivia's eyes flashed with cold fire. She didn't raise her voice, didn't curse, didn't scream. She simply turned on her heel and walked directly to the flight attendant. "Good morning," she said, voice smooth and dangerous. "I'd like to speak to whoever decided it was appropriate to publicly humiliate a paying first-class passenger, my daughter, based on an assumption." The attendant stiffened. "I apologize, but there was some confusion about the ticket." "No," Olivia interrupted. "There was no confusion. There was bias. You saw a young black girl sitting quietly in first class and assumed she didn't belong. I assure you, race had nothing to do with it." "Save it," Olivia snapped, though her tone remained eerily calm. "I've already taken down your name. Expect a formal complaint. I also have friends at your airline's corporate office. This isn't over." By now, a few bystanders had started filming. Others had fallen silent. Olivia turned back to Amara, gently took her by the hand, and led her back to the first-class lounge. She said nothing to the gawking passengers, just gave them a look that made most drop their eyes. Minutes later, the gate attendant announced pre-boarding for first class. Olivia and Amara boarded first. As they passed the flight crew, the captain, having been notified of the situation, nodded respectfully and apologized personally. Once seated, Amara finally spoke. "Thanks, Mom." Olivia gave her a small smile and took her hand. "You don't ever let anyone make you feel like you don't belong. You hear me?" Amara nodded. "Your seat isn't something you have to prove you deserve," Olivia added. "You earned it the moment you were born. And if anyone has a problem with that, they can take it up with me." Amara settled into her plush first-class seat, still shaken but silent. The hum of the engines and the low murmur of boarding passengers filled the cabin. Her mother, Olivia, sat beside her, polished, composed, and now texting furiously on her second phone. Amara glanced at her. Are you mad? Olivia didn't look up. No, I'm focused. People were staring. They'll stare even harder when they see you on the cover of Forbes Teen Edition next year. Amara blinked. What? Her mother finally looked at her and smiled. I didn't want to ruin the surprise. We had a pitch meeting lined up with the editor in LA. They are launching a series on future black women leaders in tech, and your coding nonprofit just made the shortlist. Amara's mouth dropped open. You're not just here to fly, Olivia said. You're here to lead. 30,000 feet in the air. As the flight took off, the same flight attendant who had kicked Amara out of the lounge earlier approached again. This time, her face was apologetic. I'd like to offer complimentary champagne for you both, she said. I'm 16, Amara replied, her tone flat. The woman laughed nervously. Right. Sorry. Sparkling water then. Olivia gave a tight smile. We're fine, but thank you. The attendant hesitated, then handed over a small handwritten note. I realize I made an assumption, and I'm sorry. I have daughters too. I should have known better. Amara read it and sighed. Do you think she meant it? Olivia leaned back, arms crossed. I think she meant to protect herself. There was silence for a moment. Then Amara asked, Is this what it's going to be like for the rest of my life? Olivia turned to her daughter with soft eyes. No. It'll get harder before it gets easier. But one day, you'll walk into rooms where no one questions why you're there. And if they do, you'll own the room anyway. Arrival in LA and a surprise at the gate. The plane touched down in Los Angeles, and the mother-daughter duo exited swiftly, bags in tow. But when they stepped into the terminal, they were greeted not just by warm California sunlight streaming through the windows, but by cameras. A woman in a tailored red blazer stood holding a microphone. Mrs. Freeman? Amara, she asked, clearly from a media outlet. Olivia's brow lifted. Yes. We heard what happened on the flight. A fellow passenger shared a video. It's gone viral. She turned her phone toward them. The clip showed Amara being escorted from a lounge. Then Olivia's composed confrontation and cool return. It had already hit 3 million views. It's trending under #SheBelongs, the reporter added. Would you like to comment? Olivia smiled faintly. No comment. Not yet. But Amara stepped forward, her voice steady. I'd just like to say, I've always known I belonged. It just took the world a little longer to realize it. Later that night, a private dinner with Power. That evening, Olivia and Amara sat in a dimly lit private dining room in Beverly Hills, across from 3 women, all black, all industry powerhouses. One ran a fashion empire. One led a major movie studio. The third was a former U.S. senator. We saw the video, one of them said, and we saw your grace under pressure. Amara looked at her mom, who gave a nod. You've started something, said the studio executive. You don't even know it yet. Young black girls everywhere just saw what it looks like to stand tall, even when someone tries to shrink you. We want to back your nonprofit, said the senator. Mentorship, funding, whatever it takes. But more than that, we want you to speak at our Women of Color in Leadership Summit next month. Amara's eyes widened. Me? You, Olivia said softly, because your voice matters, now more than ever. The next morning in Los Angeles, sunlight streamed through the penthouse windows of the hotel suite. Amara sat by the window, laptop open, mind racing. Her inbox had exploded overnight. Reporters, bloggers, foundations, even celebrities. She had never asked for this. One moment she was just flying to California with her mom. Now she was trending worldwide. Across the room, Olivia was on a call. Calm, controlled, commanding, as always. No, we're not doing breakfast interviews. She's 16, not a politician. If she speaks, it'll be on her terms. Amara watched her mother, half in awe, half in disbelief. That's what strength looked like. That's what power sounded like. And now, it was hers, too, whether she wanted it or not. Meanwhile, in a high school miles away, Back in Amora's hometown, things were changing. At school, some of her classmates had seen the video and reposted it with hashtags like #AmaraTheBoss and #SheBelongs. But not everyone was cheering. She didn't even own that seat. Her mom probably bought it. One girl muttered in the cafeteria. Others echoed similar sentiments. Teachers whispered in the hallways. One even suggested that Amara might be causing a distraction for the school's reputation. By lunch, a petition had been passed around calling for Amara to respectfully decline public media attention while enrolled. The same school that had proudly printed her honor roll certificates now acted like her existence was too loud, too visible, too black. Back in LA, a call that changed everything. Olivia entered the suite, holding her phone, her expression unreadable. "Amara," she said, "that was the White House." Amara blinked. "The White House? They're inviting you to the National Youth Tech Forum. The president is giving the keynote. You'd speak before her." Amara's mouth went dry. "I'm not ready." "Yes, you are," Olivia said simply, "but it's your choice." Amara looked down at her hands. Small hands. Hands that had built code late into the night, volunteered at shelters, drawn quiet sketches of apps to help other girls like her. She clenched them into fists. "If I say yes," she asked, "will I lose friends? Will people hate me more?" "Probably," her mom said, sitting beside her. "But the people who love you, really love you, will grow louder, too. And the ones who hate you, they've already lost." Amara stared out the window, watching the sunrise over the city. She didn't ask for fame. She didn't want the attention. But she wasn't about to shrink from it either. Not now. 2 weeks later, National Youth Tech Forum. The auditorium was packed. Students, educators, politicians, CEOs. Cameras broadcast the event nationwide. Amara stood backstage, wearing a white blazer over a soft pink blouse, her natural curls pinned into a crown. She clutched her note card with trembling fingers. When they called her name, the room thundered with applause. She stepped up to the podium, took a breath, and began. 2 weeks ago, I was asked to leave first class. Not because I was loud, not because I broke any rules, but because someone looked at me and decided I didn't belong. They didn't ask for my story. They didn't ask for my name. They just assumed. But here's the thing about assumptions. They don't build futures. We do. I'm here to tell every girl, especially every black girl, that your presence is not a mistake. Your intelligence is not a fluke. And your place in the front row of life? You don't need to ask permission for it. You belong because you are brilliant, because you are bold, because you were born ready. The crowd leapt to their feet. Applause echoed off the walls. Some were crying. Others just stood still. In awe, Olivia watched from the wings, tears shining in her eyes. For once, she didn't have to speak. Her daughter's voice was more than enough. But behind the applause, trouble brewed. The next morning, headlines were divided. Speech balloon teen tech prodigy shakes up DC. Speech balloon CEO mom grooming her daughter for fame. Speech balloon does this young activist belong on a national stage? Amara read them all, numb. Then came the trolls, online threats, hateful messages, accusations of playing the race card. And then came the call from her school principal. "We're afraid this is becoming disruptive," he said. "We may need to reconsider your enrollment status, at least until the media attention dies down." Olivia was furious. "You're punishing her for succeeding? For standing up?" "This isn't personal," he replied. "We just have to protect the learning environment." Amara sat on the edge of her bed, fists clenched again. The more she spoke up, the more the world pushed back. But this time, she didn't cry. She picked up her phone. She opened Instagram, and she recorded herself. The video that broke the internet again. "Hi, my name's Amara Freeman. I code, I build, I help run a nonprofit for girls in tech. But apparently, that makes me too loud for some people. Too visible. Too confident. I was told I don't belong at my school anymore. So let me be clear. I don't exist to make others comfortable. I exist to change the world. And I'm just getting started." In less than 24 hours, it hit 10 million views. Major influencers reshared it. Famous figures commented. Even the president retweeted it with one word: lead. The days after Amora's viral video were a blur of flashing lights, inbox pings, media requests, and phone calls. She was trending globally again, but this time she wasn't just a viral moment. She was a movement. She had gone from being a teenager quietly working on coding projects in her bedroom to a national symbol of resilience. But she was still only 16. And 16-year-olds still feel fear, still cry behind closed doors, still get overwhelmed, and still get hurt. Backlash in her hometown. Amora's small town, once the kind of place where neighbors waved from porches and teachers greeted her parents at the grocery store, had turned cold. Her school board held a special meeting behind closed doors, discussing her media presence. Anonymous emails were leaked to local blogs claiming her nonprofit was a vanity project funded by her mother. Parents whispered. Some even pulled their daughters from Amora's coding club, accusing Olivia of radicalizing children through tech activism. But Olivia knew the game. She had played it, survived it, beat it. She told Amara, when you stop being small, people will try to shrink you. When you stop whispering, they'll call you too loud. When you step forward, they'll say you're taking up too much space. That's how you know you're doing something worth protecting. An offer that could change everything. One evening, Olivia and Amara were in a quiet cafe in New York, attending a meeting with a black billionaire investor, Yvonne Ellison, founder of a global education fund. Yvonne had watched Amora's rise closely. "We've been searching," she said, stirring her tea, "looking for the spark to light a new fire. You're it." Amara blinked. "Me?" "You," Yvonne said. "We want to fund the first all-girls tech academy led by a black teenage founder. You will build the curriculum. Choose your team. We'll give you the space, the tools, and a national platform." Olivia leaned forward, careful. "She's still in school." Yvonne smiled. "She won't be when they expel her next week." Silence. "How do you know that?" Amara asked. "We all know. Institutions always protect themselves first. But I say, let them." Amara swallowed hard. What would the school be called? Yvonne looked at her with a warm, fierce smile. "You tell me." Back home, the breaking point. 2 days later, the letter came. "Dear Ms. Freeman, due to ongoing media disruptions and safety concerns, we regret to inform you that your enrollment at Eastwood High is hereby suspended, effective immediately." Amara stared at the letter in her hands, her fingers trembling. Her locker, her friends, her teachers, her entire sense of normal, gone in a single paragraph. She didn't speak. She just walked out the door, hoodie on, tears in her eyes. Cameras were already waiting outside her house. But they didn't know what was coming. That night, Olivia and Amara announced the launch of Coda Prize Academy, the first nationwide online and in-person school built by and for girls of color in STEM. Their press conference was live-streamed from a community center in Chicago. Amara wore a t-shirt that read, "I belong here," in bold letters. She stood at the podium, surrounded by girls her age from across the country, coders, gamers, hackers, engineers, dreamers. "They tried to lock me out of the classroom," she said, "so I built a new one." The crowd roared. They said I was too young. I say I'm just in time. They said I didn't belong. I say I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. By morning, her school's website had 250,000 applications. Major tech companies pledged millions. Beyoncé posted a clip with a caption, "This is what power looks like." The system starts to shake. In the weeks that followed, school boards across the country were flooded with calls to revise their disciplinary policies. Amara's story was cited in Senate hearings. A national campaign called #ClassNotColor was launched, aimed at confronting the racial bias black students face in academic spaces. But with the fame came darker waves too. Threats, hate mail, a firebomb attempt on their nonprofit's office. One night, Olivia sat Amara down. "You can stop right now. We'll disappear. No more press. No more cameras. Just you and me in peace. But Amara shook her head. They are trying to burn what we built because they know it's powerful. She looked her mother in the eye. I won't run.